Hey everybody, I'm Rick Harrison, and this is, well, a little talk I'm going to do. Okay, I only have 15 minutes, and a few of that's going to be Q&A, so I'm trying to get like the 15 different speeches I wrote and tore apart all into one. People always ask me 1,000,001 questions, and I'm going to try and answer all of them here in a minute. I'm going to tell you why I'm a conservative and how we're going to fix everything in the world. Okay, so here's a short story of my life. Best place to start is 8 years old. I'm laying in bed. I feel a little spark, and then a bigger spark. Then there was a lightning storm, and I woke up, I don't know how much later, but I couldn't walk. My mouth was full of blood, and I had to crawl to my parents' bedroom. That was my first epileptic seizure. And I struggled with that all through when I was a child. When I was 16 years old, I was having so many seizures that it just became impossible for me to ever graduate high school. I finished the 9th grade. But after that first seizure I had, this was in the early 70s. My dad's in Vietnam, and my mom is trying to struggle along, and lower middle income. There was no TV in my bedroom, but there was a library that we actually used to still use libraries back then. Young kids learn about them; they're really cool. So she got me some books to read. My first set of books that I absolutely loved was called The Great Brain by John D. Fitzgerald, and it was about an 8-year-old kid growing up in Utah in the 1890s, and he declared he had a great brain and came up with all these schemes to make money. Sort of what happened with my life. And I got through the epilepsy. I mean, I'm on the board of directors of the Epilepsy Foundation now, by the way. But that's sort of what formed my life. It gave me a really great love for books and history. And I became an entrepreneur. And when I was 22 years old, I went down to the city business license and said, hey, I want to open up a pawn shop. And they said, no, you can't. And I said, why not? So they handed me the city code. And apparently some good old boys in 1955 got together and said, they're not going to issue a pawn license until the city population got to 250,000. So I called the city statistician once a week. And then in April of '88, he said it was 250,000. I went down there. They didn't give me my pawn license right then, but I eventually ended up getting it when I went to court. The judge said I was the first one there. And back then, pawn licenses went for like $1 million in Vegas. I got mine for free. And then I struggled along in business. And ups, downs. Along the way, I opened up a lot of businesses that failed, a lot of them that did well, everything in the middle. And quite frankly, this is the only country in the world with when there's a person like me, everything I went through, that could do that. I was a really sick kid that without an education, but in this country, it doesn't matter who you are. Remember, we live in a... This is literally a country where it doesn't matter if you're born in a log cabin in Illinois, you can become president. I mean, to this day, anybody can. But we also live in a country nowadays that is just full of excuses that why you can't do something, and all that needs to change. I mean, I'm really, really successful because I was raised by a hard-ass dad. Literally, when I was 10 years old, it's like, sir, I've done the dishes, I'm ready for inspection. No, but this is an amazing country we live in. It really is. And we're here at CPAC and we're talking about all these problems that need to be fixed. And I truly believe none of those problems are going to get fixed unless we fix the education system first. Today, kids come out of high school, they don't even know what a corporation is, besides that it's evil. They learn that capitalism, it's bad. And you go, what's bad about it? And they go, it's bad. And it's absolutely crazy. We really have to change the way we educate our kids. Let's face it, a large portion of the kids going to high school aren't going to college, but we teach them to go to college. Okay? Quite frankly, right now you can probably make a lot more money being a welder than you can with a marketing degree. We have no, I mean, we need, I mean, you know, everything, it's all about the teachers union, not about the teachers, not about the kids. We have to get school vouchers. We have to make it able so kids can go to trade schools. No, I mean, the average age of a machinist in the United States is 55 years old. Okay, we are going to we can change the laws to create all the manufacturing in this country if we want, but if we don't have anybody who can work a machine tool, we can't manufacture anything. Okay, we need welders, we need plumbers, we need electricians. These are jobs, these are honorable jobs, and we have a left-wing social, I mean, that literally look, if you don't have a college degree, they look down on you. My 33-year-old son is a master plumber and he makes over 100 grand a year. Most, I'm just saying, I keep on bringing up marketing degree because I actually, this was like a couple years ago, I literally had a guy in my shop who sold t-shirts with a marketing degree. No, but that's what needs to change in this country. We need to change the way we educate kids. Voucher systems, bring back trade schools, and teach these kids what it means to be an American. We have no... They gloss over the revolution in a week in high school. They give you a few bullet points, Stamp Act, Boston Tea Party, Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and there was these guys that did it. But we don't teach knowledge. You know, there's a difference between information and knowledge. Information has been filtered and refined. And that information can be filtered and refined just about any way you want a result. We need to teach knowledge. I mean, that's why we used to read the classics and everything in school. I mean, it makes you think, it makes you question things. You know, I would talk to young people during the election, and well, we should elect Hillary because she's a woman. I'm going like, okay, why? Because she's a woman, but why? And they teach groupthink. They don't. It drives me nuts. Okay, and so like I said, there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about. This really is a cool item right here. My friend Brian Hiddleston, that's his. So in the 1820s, the government wanted a few copies of this thing called the Declaration of Independence. And they approved, believe it or not, this is sort of crazy, they would never do this today. They approved this guy's system for a wetting process. He literally put a wet piece of paper over the Declaration of Independence so he could pick up some of the ink off it. And he created a copper plate with that. It took him 2 years to engrave it so that it could be distributed through the country what the original Declaration of Independence looked like. They made 200 of them in vellum, and then in the 1840s, they put in another 500 of them. And this is a copy of it right here. It's truly an amazing document, and but it's not taught anymore. I mean, it was just so much more than the Boston Tea Party. It was the it was the Murder Act. All these, the intolerable acts caused in Britain by Parliament, which basically was an overreaching government that wasn't listening to its own citizens. And that's sort of what we were going through forever in this country. We were just, government overreach, it's killing everything. We're fixing it all now, but if we don't fix the education system, it's going to be for naught. And that's my big speech today, was just basically we need to fix education. That's why I'm working with a bunch of nonprofits. I'm trying to get some videos out there. And I don't know, it drives me nuts. And like I said, I had 15 different speeches. I tried to meld them all into one today, and it's sort of messing up on me a little bit. So I'm going to take questions from the crowd. Anybody got a question? I think that really the best way to inspire kids, I go out and talk to high schools all the time, and the best way to inspire them is tell them, hey, you want money? Yeah, I mean, well, no, you really have to talk plainly to, like, especially when you go into a neighborhood where that's a poor neighborhood, they don't make a lot of money, and you explain to these kids, hey, you want to do good in life? Get an education, get a job with, either go to college and get a job that way, go to trade school, get a job that way. Don't have kids out of wedlock, and you are like guaranteed to do well. When I talk at these high schools, you should just see the cringes on their face when I get up there, like, no, don't have kids until you're married. And it's it literally it's like every teacher in there just turns absolutely white, especially the administrators and stuff. A few of them come to me later and go, "Thank God you said that." But none of this is taught in high school. There's no virtue taught in high school. They have no idea what a tax return is. They have no idea why Mr. FICA is taking money out of their paycheck. They don't understand where money comes from. I mean, Bernie Sanders, free education for everybody. And I'm talking to my daughter last year, who was 14 at the time. She goes, everyone should get a free education. I said, nothing's free in this world. And like, she says that, well, you just say that because you're rich. I'm going like, yeah, I make a lot of money. And quite frankly, we have so much to live on. The rest of it, I just invest in other businesses and other things, which gives other people jobs. The government just blows it. So, I mean, that's sort of like my goal. I told my wife talks about, you do a lot of this, and it's like you're working 14 hours a day sometimes, and banging your head against the wall trying to teach those things to people. I'm going, maybe I can change the world a little bit, not completely. Oh, we have more.
We have 3.
Okay. 3 what?
Questions.
All right. Let's get some questions.
Eric, how are you doing? I just have a question for somebody that's already almost done with their college career, essentially. What do you recommend as to basically secure jobs in the market besides it's obviously it's never too late for trade school, but what do you recommend for kids that are almost out of college in order to guarantee their place in this world? Thank you.
Find a hole in the market. That's what I've done my whole life. Just find a field that is not getting the attention it needs and go there. Quick little story, 15 years ago, my wife calls me up right after we have her son. She goes, I was just watching Oprah and they got these really cool baby bottles. Will you order me some? I'm saying, you're a new mom, first kid, just order, you want baby bottles that you saw on Oprah? I said, cool. I called up and said, dude, I need 5,000 baby bottles and I need them right now, because I put them all on eBay and I sold them and made like $20,000 that month. But find a hole in the market, you'll make money.
In 1978, we were second in the world, in the industrialized world, in education, and we pulled education out of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare and made it its own department. And today we are now 17th in the world in education. I wonder how much money we have flushed down that toilet. I'm just throwing that out there. I'd like to, you're talking about vouchers, I'd like to know what you know about the ESSA, the Every Student Succeeds Act that was passed in December of 15 while all the moms were busy getting ready for Christmas. You know, when the legislature's in session in December, they're doing bad stuff.
That particular one I don't know about. But I know there's school districts in this country right now that are literally saying no student can score less than a 50% on anything, and yeah, and basically, high schools in this country, it's not about self-esteem, it's about learning. That's what needs to be found out.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Okay.
the, the plumbing and electrician jobs and apprenticeships, I don't know about the rest of the country, but in Buffalo, New York, they're very controlled by the unions. And you actually have to know somebody to get one of those. I knew a special ed teacher. She wanted to teach her kids how to paint a room. She thought that would be a great skill because painters make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the students learned how to figure out the square footage and how much paint and everything else. They painted the room, and the union filed a grievance and came in and painted over it the next day. So we have a huge problem with the pushback that we will get in trying. It has to be done in the private sector to give kids the option to go and learn trades.
I mean, that's why we need a voucher system. We need private schools. We need all these things. And it's, you know, the teachers union can be beat. I mean, you know, everyone just needs to stand up and start screaming. And, you know, it's sort of like the old network movie for us old people remember it. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yes, this is a quick question. My name is Juliet Adams. I'm an educator both in Maryland and Virginia. And my question to you is, how do we take the politics out of education that is destroying our educational system? Thank you.
Literally just I mean, everybody in here needs to start screaming at their state legislatures and tell them I'm going to vote you out no matter what party you are, because you know, let's face it, you know, we're sick and tired of the unions and everyone else educating our kids. We want our kids educated the way we want our kids educated. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.